Rail fare hikes, a punch to the pocketbook amidst promises of reform. The rumble of discontent is echoing across train platforms in England and Wales. From Sunday, rail passengers face a jarring 4.6% surge in fares, a blow that lands particularly hard as the cost of living crisis continues to squeeze household budgets. This isn't just a minor adjustment, it's a significant increase, impacting not only individual tickets, but also the popular railcards that many rely on to make commuting and travel more affordable. These cards, previously shielded from price increases for years, are now facing a £5 hike, adding further insult to injury. This weekend's fare escalation marks only the second time the government has dared to raise fares beyond the inflation rate since 2013. The previous transgression occurred in 2021, a year dominated by the COVID-19 pandemic, a time when rail revenue was significantly crippled. The government's justification for this latest price hike is that it represents the lowest absolute increase in 3 years, a claim that conveniently overlooks the soaring inflation rates of recent times. Furthermore, they point to the increase being slightly below the current rise in average earnings, 5.9%, an argument that fails to acknowledge the disproportionate impact of increased transportation costs on lower-income individuals. The government, in its defense, trumpets its commitment to railway reform, painting a picture of a brighter future for rail travel in Britain. In a statement, a spokesperson emphasized their commitment, asserting, "My number one priority is getting the railways back to a place where people can rely on them, and through public ownership and the creation of Great British Railways, we'll be putting passengers at the heart of everything we do." This lofty rhetoric, however, rings hollow in the ears of frustrated commuters facing yet another financial strain. But this carefully crafted narrative is met with sharp criticism from passenger advocacy groups. Sylvia Barrett of the Campaign for Better Transport aptly captures the widespread sentiment, labeling the fare increase as yet another blow. Her disappointment is palpable, particularly concerning the price hike for railcards, a long-standing source of savings for regular travelers. It's especially disappointing that even railcards are going up in price after being protected for years, she laments, highlighting the impact on those who had come to rely on these cost-effective travel options. The disconnect between government pronouncements and the lived realities of rail passengers is stark. While the government boasts about prioritizing passenger needs and investing in railway modernization through initiatives like Great British Railways, the reality is a continuous upward trend in fares. This creates a sense of betrayal among passengers, who feel that their interests are consistently overlooked in favor of political expediency. The question that hangs heavy in the air is whether this represents a fair approach to funding railway improvements. Many are asking whether the government's commitment to improving the railway network truly translates into action or simply serves as a convenient justification for consistently increasing fares. Campaigners argue that if the government can readily find billions to freeze fuel duty for motorists, a move largely benefiting wealthier drivers, then surely they can find comparable funding to mitigate the impact of fare increases on rail passengers, many of whom rely on public transport out of necessity rather than choice. The disparity in treatment is glaring. While drivers benefit from government subsidies, rail passengers are left to shoulder the increasing burden of fare hikes, a situation that is perceived as grossly unfair. This raises serious questions about the government's commitment to equitable transportation policies and fuels the ongoing debate about the true priorities of those in power. The 4.6% increase is not merely a number. It's a symbol of the growing disconnect between government promises and the lived experiences of millions of rail commuters. It's a reminder that while the rhetoric of reform is persuasive, the reality of rising costs remains a harsh and unwelcome truth. The struggle for affordable and reliable public transport continues.